Yo, welcome back to the Genuine Kid Podcast 216. Got another one for y'all. But before we get into it, you know how we start. Want to start off by thanking God for all He has done for me and what He will continue to do for me. But not only me, my family, my friends, and for those I do not even know. Got another one for y'all. And this episode today is going to be entitled Money. And you know we're going to start with a scripture. And that scripture is going to be from Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5. Keep your life free from the love of money and be content with what you have. For He has said, I will never leave nor forsake you. Let that sink in. But we're going to get into it. Money. Most of us, many of us, we might come from money. And some of us may not come from money. And a lot of times we see money and that's what we want. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm with y'all. Like, I'm on the same level. Like, that's what we see. You know, we see people with nice houses, nice cars, designer clothes, everything. And when we see that, we know most people are well off, or they might have inherited some money, or we don't know their situation, but we know that they're in a have money, and they don't have to ask for it. They don't have to beg for it. They just made of it, right? I remember I was working for this company, and some told me, I don't know, but I wanted to Google the owner of that company, and I never could understand and that this guy was a billionaire, and he was a billionaire, but he wasn't paying his workers a lot of money. I don't understand that. And when I was there, I just saw people come, leave. Basically, it was a high turnover. So I was trying to really figure out what was going on. Like, I'm like, what's going on? Like, every time I come in here, is somebody that's quitting. Every time I come in here, people don't want to work. And the turnover rate was high. But what I later found out, a lot of it was, management. A portion of it was management. But a lot of it was a lot of people wasn't getting paid a lot of money. So they sought out better opportunities. And they went to something better. And a lot of times when you are working, for me, I can't speak for nobody else, like, I'm working, but not only am I working, I'm working to always do better. Money is a priority, but it's not the only priority. It can't always end and begin with money, but it is important, if that makes sense. Like, it is important. And not only if that is important, you have to be happy. But it's not all about money. I remember I was talking to this person, and we were just chopping it up. We were talking and stuff, and they were like, listen, I want to go to school, and I want to do this. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, you like doing that? They were like, no, I don't like doing it, but you get paid a lot of money. So you're going into a field. Not only are you going into a field, you're going into a field and you are getting grants, getting loans, maybe a scholarship, whatever it is. But your intention on going after this is the money. That's it. Like, you don't have a love for it or a desire for it. It's just about the money. And I think that if it begins and ends with money, I think that it's going to be a short victory. Because it's not just about that. You have to really love what you do. And once you love what you do, no matter what it is in life, I think everything will come after that. It'll come. But a lot of times, many of us, including myself, I'm included in this, we only concerned about money. Money is everything. Money is the root of all evil. They talk about that in the Bible, but it's like, it's not supposed to just be about that. But it's hard because, like I said, many of us don't come from money. A lot of us don't have it. So that's what we want. Or our circumstances might be difficult. A lot of us might be homeless. A lot of us might be working or between jobs or whatever our situation is, and we not trying to hear all that. Like, we just trying to listen. Like, right now, at this moment, this is what I need. And that's all that we see. But I've been on this earth for 34 years. In my opinion, I think one of the things that changes people is money. It'll make you turn on your own family. It'll make you even steal from your own family. So it's deep. And I think that we should reevaluate how we look at things and how we see things. I think when your heart is into something and you ask God to lead you where you need to be, everything else will fall into place. I remember a few years ago, I was looking for a place, and I was in a position where I could do that. And I just, I learned from my experiences, and I needed a place to have money in the bank. It made me feel so good because I was never normally in a situation where I could do that because I didn't have any money. And that's when I started saving, and I was in a position to have it. But anyway, I remember I was looking for places to live, and I actually came across a place, and I was living there, and I loved it. It wasn't the best neighborhood, wasn't the best, but I was like, listen, it's okay because I got a place to live and I had enough money to take care of what I needed to. And that meant everything. That meant everything for me. It meant everything to me because I didn't have to ask, I didn't have to borrow. I was okay. And speaking about money, I remember I was working 2 jobs and I was talking to this older woman when we were talking, and this is the reason why I started saving money even to this day. We were talking and stuff, and she was like, you got 2 jobs? I said, yeah. So you got 2 jobs, you work every day, but my question to you is, what do you have to show for it? And I was kind of upset because I was like, she being funny? No, she was actually just being real. And I didn't have anything to show for it. This lady took me to the bank, family friend, took me to the bank, opened me an account, and ever since that day, I've been saving a portion of my money. Ever since that day. And I'm not where I want to be at, but I'm okay. By the grace of God, I'm okay. And that's all right with me. And wherever God lead me to be, if it's making a lot of money, that's cool. If it's not, that's cool. But I have a desire and love to do what I do. I love security. I love doing this podcast. I love it. I love it, and I'm not just doing it for money. I'm doing it because it's genuine. That's why I named my podcast The Genuine Kid 216, and it just comes from my heart. And I believe once you do that, everything else will follow. Everything will follow. Now, again, we're not going to say that it's not a priority, but that shouldn't be your main priority. I remember I was in church, and this guy came up to me and he said, God gonna make a way for you to take care of you and your family. And ever since that day, God has made a way for me. And he's made a way for me with not only money, but in his grace, but in his spirit, but just by helping me. And it's hard out here. It's hard. We all struggling, including myself. I ain't no exception to the rule. But we just gotta continue to strive, never give up, and go after it. And stop always thinking that money is the end all be all. Some people have a lot of money, and I guarantee you they're not happy. Money cannot make you happy. Maybe a portion of it. Maybe you will be in a situation where you can be okay, but that's not everything. I'd rather be poor and happy than rich and unhappy. I was watching this movie with my auntie. This was years ago, and it was called People Under the Stairs. And I remember watching this movie, and the people that was in the movie was like had these kids. They were under the stairs, and I don't know, for some reason they weren't crazy or something, but these people were loaded with money, loaded. And in my head at the time, I'm thinking like, they got all this money, they should be happy. Why they kidnapping these kids, or and they putting them under the stairs? I was like, why is that? I was just confused. And my auntie was like, they might have money, but that don't mean that they're happy. But I always thought, me personally, I always thought that if you had money, that was a factor that made you happy. That's what I always thought, because I thought, like, that's what you thought. But just because we think something or thought something, don't mean that it's necessarily true. What we need to focus on is just working hard, always striving for better, always trying to do better, and the money will come. I'm a real believer in that. That when you have a desire to do something, you put God first, you put your heart into it, you keep striving, everything else will come. And one thing I want to say to y'all, whatever y'all can out of your checks, if y'all working, I don't care if it's $10. Save you some money. Because you never know what might happen. You just never know. Tell you a quick story. I remember my sister, she was like, Keelan, and this is when I was younger and I didn't want to listen. She's like, you always save money or have some money for a rainy day. Because you never know what might happen. You might lose your job. You might get laid off. You might get fired. Anything might happen. You will at least have you a few $100s or something in the bank. And I was young, and I did it for a minute, and I didn't do it because I wasn't trying to hear all that. Because I was just focused on just spending whatever, spending whatever money that I had. But it's not good. And it says in the Bible that we should be a good steward over our money as much as possible. It's a scripture. I don't know it. I had to look for it. But save y'all some money. And even if it's $10 out of your check, save it. Put it up there. Don't even think about it. But only go to that money unless it's an emergency or something you may need. Other than that, out of sight, out of mind. Save you something. Because you never know what might happen in this world. It's unpredictable. And what I'm really trying to get people to understand is take money out of the equation. Maybe put money in 10% of it, and then everything else follows it. I was talking to this guy one time, and he was working a job, and it was his, I think the company was Avery Dennison, and he was getting paid a lot of money. But he said when he was working there, it was a lot of hours. He wasn't spending time with his family. And ultimately, he wasn't happy. So he ended up leaving. So now he has another job. I think it's at, what was he at? Give me a moment, y'all. It was at YMCA. So he said, I took a pay cut, a significant amount of pay cut, but now I'm happier than ever. I get to spend time with my kid. I get a free membership through the YMCA, and I feel like what I'm doing right now. I'm making a difference in what I'm doing in this position. So that's what matters to me. And I'm like, wow, that's deep. And I received that. And I told him that. I'm like, bruh, that was some real stuff you was just talking. And I said, thank you for, explaining that to me. Sharing that with me, rather. And he was like, you're welcome. He wasn't focused on the money, but he loved what he was doing. And we don't know. Maybe God called him to do that temporarily until he gets in another position and he'll be making some more money. Like, you just never know. You never know where God's going to take you or what's going to happen. You just never know. So always be ready. Always be prepared. And just do the best that you can. Keep working hard. And ask, when you are in a position, whether it's to make more money or make whatever decision you are making, or whatever you want to go in your life, take a moment and pray. Take a moment and think about it. And put God in it. Whatever you do, whatever you decide, just put Him in it. And let Him lead your steps along the way. We all fall short in the glory of God. But as long as we are collectively making an effort and we are trying, that is what matters to most. And I believe that He could see that. God can see that. But it's hard to look at those things because we live in a world where we need to survive. We need food, we need shelter, we need all of these things. And what all these things that we need to survive, we need lights, we need gas, we gotta pay mortgage, we gotta pay rent, we gotta pay car insurance, we need money. So money's gonna always come back some type of way. But I'm here to tell you that it's going to be okay. You probably can't see it. It's probably hurting right now. You probably listen to this like, bro, he's saying all this stuff right now. I'm broke right now. And I ain't got no money. But I'm here to tell you that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Because God says it's going to be okay. Just Restructure the way you think. Restructure the way you look at things. Restructure who you're around. Because again, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Just because somebody, like I said before, just because somebody has money and it might appear that they may be happy, that does not mean that they're happy. And like I said before, the money is the root of all evil. Do the best that you can. Thank you guys for listening to the Genuine Kid Podcast 216. I'm out, and I'll talk to y'all later.